Hey all, it's Jess from Sunflower Dairy, and it's pretty chilly here. So we have been having tons of freezes. It actually got down to like 25 the other night, which is pretty cold. So we had a couple times where stuff in the garden was completely covered, and a lot of you were like, are you still growing your garden? Like, is stuff in your garden done? So if you've never been here before, we're in zone 5B, 6A. Every week we try to show you what's grown in the garden, what we're harvesting, if we're planting anything, and all of that. So let's get started with this garden tour. Alright, so as you can see, we have cleaned out the garden quite a bit, but there is still stuff growing. Like if you see here, there's still tons of cilantro that is bright green. And this is not frozen. See? Not frozen at all. We still have broccoli and all of that growing. Check this out. This is kale. And as you can see, so kale as it grows, it kind of grows up. And so all of these bigger leaves have been here a while, but all of this from the top is new growth. And this has all happened within the last few, probably weeks, and the really small ones are from the last couple days. So there is quite a bit of new growth on this. And then check out, this is one of the new leaves, and look at how beautiful that is. So this is dino kale, and you can see why. And if you didn't know this, kale actually gets sweeter and tastier after it gets frozen a couple times, but it is cold hardy. So this is going to be out here pretty much most of the winter. But grow some kale if you want a cold weather crop. And then let's take a look over here. Oh, check out those Brussels. Check out those Brussels sprouts. Look at, those are getting a nice size on them. Brussels also, as it gets colder, they get tastier. They get sweeter, not as bitter. So these have gotten bigger. They've grown since we've gotten the freezes. So Brussels sprouts are cold hardy. You just got to get them started at the right time. And we have a few other kale varieties over here. This is new growth. I've actually been harvesting off of this quite a bit. This is a curly kale, and this is one of my favorite kales to make kale chips out of. So kale chips, you just cut up your kale and you put it in like olive oil and then salt and pepper, and then you put it on a baking sheet and you bake it until it turns into almost like a potato chip. But look at that kale. Beautiful. But this is new growth. Like I said, I've been harvesting off this, and you can tell that this is new growth because there's no spots or holes missing, or this hasn't been eaten or anything. So, but look at that. And then there's also another kind over here. Check out this one. I love the color. Look at the center of this. Look at that bright purple. How beautiful that is. So there's several different kale varieties that you can grow. And let's see. check out that Swiss chard. So Swiss chard is another thing that's cold hardy. Look at this. Looks great. And also Swiss chard, if some people are like, oh, don't know what that's like, it's kind of like spinach. I've used it in a lot of recipes that I usually use spinach in, and also I've noticed that Swiss chard will last a bit better in the warm weather, and then it will also thrive in the cold weather. So spinach does not like hot weather, so this is great to grow in the hot weather when you're not really getting any spinach, and you can put this in your recipes that you usually put spinach in. Alright, and lettuce does not mind to freeze either. I've been harvesting the lettuce. Alright, let's see what else we can find in here. Alright, let's see if we can find a few carrots to harvest. Even though we've been getting some freezes and the ground has been getting cold, we're not quite carrots, but look at that carrot. So carrots, as long as the ground isn't completely frozen, you can still have your carrots in the ground. Just look at those beautiful carrots. So let's see, there should be, yep, there we go. Yellow beet. Beets, same as carrots, you can keep them in the ground till it's completely frozen. Probably a lot of you are surprised that there's that much stuff you can grow in the garden when it's this cold out. All right, let's see over here. Okay, so celery. Celery is another thing that will grow in the cold. As you can see, that's not harmed at all. And celery has a really long growing season, so it's best if you can leave celery in the ground as long as possible to mature, because it takes a really long time to get started and it takes a really long time to grow. So that's why a lot of people have planted celery and they're like, oh, it didn't get big enough, it didn't taste good. It needs a really long growing season. Alright, let's find a few more things in here really quick to show you all. Alright, so over here at the herb bed, there we go, I found some. Peppermint. As you can see, this looks great. And this will grow right underneath in the cold weather, because this, in my area, it's a perennial, so it just keeps growing and growing, and it comes back every year, even if it dies back, but usually it grows right underneath the cold. So that is a beautiful herb you can grow in the cold weather. And this is great if you dry it out and use it for tea, or you can use this for decorating desserts, or there's so many other recipes that you can do with this. Right, let's go this way. All right, all. So you can see back here, there's onions all the way down this row right here. So the actual onion bulbs, they're a little iffy if they get frozen and then you pull them up, because sometimes the texture changes. But green onions, they'll grow in the cold weather. So if you want a cold, hearty onion flavor, green onions will work, and you can put them in place of an onion to get that onion flavor. All right, all, as you can see, there's so many things that you can still grow in the cold weather in the cold weather garden. All right, all, thank you for watching and have a blessed day.